Alright, Jam, I'm also going to be recording this so I can post it on YouTube. And I'm just going to name it whatever. Anyway, Jam, so here's what I'm going to create the GUI first. So I'm just going to import screen GUI. And I'm going to just name the shop, okay? And then I'm going to add a frame. I'm just put it in the middle, and then I'm going to add a text label in the middle of it. Okay. And you see how in the Explorer, everything's under the shop gem?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so that when I want to close the GUI, I don't have to go through. I can just uncheck visible and visible. Makes sense? Because I don't know why you're doing it where everything was like its own element. Okay, makes sense.
It's confusing. I don't know how to make it like that.
Just you see the Explorer frame, and then put the text label inside the frame as a child. You see?
Oh.
Anyway, this is going to be the next. Okay. Oh fuck. It's going to be next. And then this is going to be so irritating. Alright, this is going to be the back. Alright. And then the first item by default, we're just gonna name it sword. I'll make it smaller. Right. And then let's add a button outside of it that says open close. Alright, so with this very basic GUI, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a local script, right? And then I'm just going to declare everything. So I'm going to get the frame, local main frame, script dot parent dot frame, and local open button, script dot parent, and I'm just going to rename this open. Okay. And then I'm just going to get this as well. I'm going to rename these. So this is going to be forward, backward, and then display. So just going to declare everything. Main frame dot forward equal backward equal main frame dot backward. Right, and then local display equals main frame display. So you understand everything that's going on right now, right? I'm just declaring everything.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so now I'm gonna actually do that. So let's make it so first. Let's just make it so you have to open this GUI, or you press the button to open. So I'm gonna make that visible by default, right? And since this is the frame, everything inside it will be turned invisible once I set visible to off. Do you see? So I'm gonna do open button and then mouse click one connect function. Alright, and I'm gonna do if the main frame dot visible is equal to false, then main frame dot visible is equal to true, else main frame is equal to false. Do you understand this so far?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. And then so this is going to open the GUI, and then we're gonna add events to the GUI. So let's first set the shop items. So let's just say shop items is equal to, and then I could do sword, alright, as the first item, axe as the second item. Let's see, what else? Shovel, alright, and then pickaxe, stupid shit like that, and then pistol. Alright, so now that I have my shop items, alright, I'm going to set the counter to 1, alright, and this counter is going to represent the current position inside the table. So if the counter is 1, what do you think the current position, or what item do you think I'm getting when I get
Sword.
right? So now let's do, when you click on the forward button, alright, forward that mouse click. Hold on, I'm just copy paste that. Next function. Alright. So when you go forward, right, it's going to plus if counter, and then we're going to do, or no, not counter, if shop item, and then we're going to do the counter plus 1, right? So if the current item, and then so counter right now is getting the current item, right, which since it's 1 is going to be sword, plus 1 is going to now make it 2, right? Or yeah, it's going to make it 2, so the next item would be axe. Alright, makes sense. And we're going to do not equal to nil. Alright, so basically the next item is not nothing, because if, let's say it was on pistol and went to the next one and it was nothing, it would give you nil, right? Then counter plus, and so if it's not nil, we're going to increment the counter by 1, else we're going to make the counter 1. Alright, and then what we're going to do is display.text is equal to shop items and then counter. Okay, so that's the forward button. Let's actually just test to see if it works real quick. Alright, so it works, right? We can go through the list that we set, the table list, right? And all we're doing is changing the text to match. Make sense?
Wait, so you only wrote like 39 lines of code, and I wrote like over 100 lines, and I couldn't make it work.
Yeah, I don't know how you did that. Don't worry about it. Okay, so now we're gonna set up so you can go backwards, okay? And basically, the backwards is the same shit. We're just going to actually, yeah, we can just take this code, and then we're gonna do -1. So if the counter -1, so since it's default 1, right? If we go back 1, is there anything back 1 from sword?
No.
No, right? So it's going to return nil, correct? So
Yeah.
if it returns nil, right, then we're going to make it so that it goes to the last one. So if we go sword and we go back 1, it's going to go to pistol, right? So how do we do that, right? What we're going to do is we're going to do the number of items in shop, right? So basically, how many items are in shop right now? How many items are in this table?
5.
Right, so what would this be? What would this counter be set to?
5.
Right, so basically if we're on sword and we go back 1 and there's nothing there, then we set it to 5. And what's the 5th item? If the index was 5, what would it be?
So?
Right, so when we go backwards now, it would display pistol. Okay, so now let's test it. We open it, we go back, we default to pistol, okay, and we keep going back, and then we can default all the way to pistol, and then we can go forward as well. Make sense?
Yes. I did not know it was that easy.
Oh, don't worry, it is that easy. So, yeah, so instead of doing it in 100 lines, we did it in however much lines. Right, makes sense?
Yeah.
Now I'm just going to make it smaller so we can actually see how many lines it is without a bunch of indentations. So in total there's like 39 lines. But although lines shouldn't really matter, it's just how efficient it is in terms of operations. If there's little to no operations, that's good. If there's more operations, that's generally bad. Because the more operations, the more easier it is to fail. That's the general thumb. Anyway, so that's that. Do you get it now?
What happens if you make a button there, like to buy something? How would that work?
Oh, let's actually do that then. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna make this visible so I can edit it, and I'm gonna add a text button. I'm just take this, I'm gonna rename it to buy, alright, and then I'm gonna name it buy. And when you press buy, what it's gonna do is it's just gonna print the item that you bought. Okay. So I'm just gonna do local local current item is equal to, and then I'm gonna do shop items counter. Alright, this just makes sense, right? So what would current item be by default when the round starts, or when the game starts? Jen,
Yeah.
what would current items be by default when the round starts?
Or
Sword, right? Because one, and then that's basically one, right? So what we're gonna do now is we're going to set the current item to shop items. Fuck. Shop items counter. Make sense? Hold on.
yeah.
Right, and then we're just going to set that for this one. So it's going to change that, and then we can just set a let's actually localize the buy button, local mainframe, and local buy equals mainframe dot buy. Okay, we're gonna do buy mouse, fuck it, buy mouse one connect function, right? And then we're just going to print the current item, okay? And then let's play it and see what happens. So we're gonna print it, and then next we're gonna add prices. All right, Jen. So I press buy, it's gonna print sword, and then I press buy again, it's gonna press axe. And if I go to pistol and I press buy again, it's gonna do pistol. Make sense?
Yeah. It does.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this thing more advanced. I'm gonna actually make these into a table, and I'm gonna make the second item inside the table the cost. Alright. So if I did this, right, it would probably break the script, but that's okay for now because I'm just gonna go back and change it. So I'm just gonna add the prices in. Right, second item, $5, and pistol, that 1,000. Alright, so now this wouldn't work anymore, right? Because if we got this, right, you know what this would be? This would, if we went this, right, we'd basically be setting the text into a table because that's what it is now, correct?
Yes.
So we actually have to do this. Alright. So we're just gonna set the text to the first item inside the table. So we're gonna get the table. Alright, that's what shop items counter is. That's what this part is. Okay, that's the table itself. And then we're gonna do the first item inside the table, right, which would be sword. And text can only match with a string value, correct? So that would work. And then what we're gonna do here is current items. We're gonna leave current items as the table itself because it's more flexible that way. So now we can actually print. Let's print item, and then let's do current item 1, and then we do price and concat. Okay, so now when we print it, when we play, it is going to work. So we buy it, item is a sword, price is 10, right? And then we go next. Item is axe, price is 100. And we go next. Item is shovel, price 500. Pickaxe, item 5, and then pistol. Right? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you understand everything here? Right? Do you understand how this works?
Can you scroll up a little bit? Yeah, like that. I want to read the entire thing again because
I'm trying to make it a little bit bigger. Can you read it? Or is it too small?
can read it.
Okay. But as for the video, I'm just gonna end it here because I basically finished the script.